Simon Wagner was again reminding that he loves the challenging Czech roads. The now 5-time Austrian champion swapping places twice with Andrea Mabellini in the afternoon in an intense scrap for second, only to suffer a bunch punch of his own. Tyre damage saw the Hyundai driver briefly off the road and he slipped back to fourth. Mads Osberg was relishing his first outing since July in what was his 300th rally, alongside his fourth co-driver of the season in Irishman Lorcan Moore. The former Croatia WRC2 winner passed Johansson again after another spin for the Swede in the day's final test.
Getting more polluted with every passing car, the Estonian took a fine third place, just behind his M-Sport Ford teammate Armstrong. Promising signs for last year's junior WRC champion.
Fight, but it would be a strong start too from the Ceredigion winner, just over 2 seconds slower than Marchik through this 6-kilometre test.
And it certainly did. The former ERC4 champ was at times on the edge, but fourth place made the risk worthwhile. Mico Marchek showed he has finally got to grips with the Italian roads. He pushed the home favourites all the way, but with half an eye on the championship bigger picture, he would settle for the final podium spot. The drama in the afternoon loop would again come in the stunning but treacherous Idefjord stage. Jakob Matolka was having a fine event, but his rally would come to an end halfway down a steep hill. Nothing left to do but enjoy the view.
Finnish team sensation Telka Kauppinen was the sole remaining Lancia driver on the final leg and had another eventful weekend with a spin in the opening stage. Second early on and a stage winner on day one before a puncture pegged back the 19-year-old's progress, eventually settling for fourth. John Armstrong has shown great pace all year, only for a run of bad luck to prevent a strong finish, but that was finally about to change in Poland. The Irishman fastest in stage 10 and was closing on second, only to be handed a 10-second penalty for taking the wrong line through a chicane.
Much at home in the heat of Rome was Gian Basso. The double ERC champion is riding high in the Italian championship, and it showed. No stage wins, but constantly running at the sharp end. He took second overall and would be looking forward to Sunday's challenge.
After finishing third in last season's championship, Mico Marchik has maintained his momentum. The two-time Polish national champion a couple of attempts quicker in this 6-kilometre Tramur de Qualification test. The outgoing junior ERC champion Mille Johansson had chosen the season finale to belatedly find the sweet spot on his Rally 2 Skoda setup to run in a fine third early on, having a lucky escape though with a high speed.
Reshaped for a third time by the demise of Leo Russell, who, having finished in the lead, had to retire his Citroën on the road section home because of a mechanical issue. Heartbreak.
It would be a dramatic start to the final day of the JDS Machinery Rally Ceredigion, with two high-profile exits in the opening stage. Fifth place Keith Cronin with a dramatic roll.
Was finished off with a brave power stage effort. He was no threat to Mabellini, but did manage to take a point from Mico Marchek's tally. The runners-up spot in Wales will surely put more of the spotlight on the 25-year-old Estonian in the future.
It's in on the mix. Jakob Matolka already putting a frustrating accident at the Rally de Roma behind him with a strong run through this tricky 7.6-kilometre test. Fourth fastest through for the 25-year-old. Armstrong, though, still retains slim hopes of his own in the championship race, and a second stunning run from the Irishman through the Stage 7 gravel completed a bunched brace of stage wins and a surge from 5th to 2nd in that final test.
Mabellini, the Italian, always at home on tarmac, blasting through 5.7 seconds quicker than Marchek, with a time that would be extremely hard to beat for the rest of the field.
Andrea Mabellini begins only 2 points behind the Polish star with dropped scores taken into account, but an early slide on the dirty road would prove costly. The Skoda driver more than 3 seconds off the pace.
The surprise package in Wales was Robert Jurgensen. Despite some hairy moments, the Estonian looked right at home on the Ceredigion tarmac. He finished the day in second spot, just over 7 seconds behind his teammates.
Around Lancia, with the iconic brand recently launching their Rally 2 Ypsilon, and Acci Team Italia supported Francesco De Cecchi would make his debut in a familiar Martini liveried version. Third fastest in Stage 2, the 20-year-old then went off the road at the same corner as Rahil.
Roberto Dapra had an eventful day on the Italian roads, the exciting talent showing excellent pace in his home rally, winning 2 of the afternoon stages. It could have been even better, but for some unfortunate mistakes, this spin costing him valuable time. 5th overall, though, puts him bang in the mix.
With both his championship rivals struggling, then a blistering start to the rally had significantly boosted the slim hopes of Ceredigion winner John Armstrong. The M Sport Fiesta driver winning all but one stage on Saturday to lead the way despite a puncture early in the afternoon. The luck was not with the Irish on this opening morning. Crichton's M Sport teammate and fellow countryman John Armstrong spun in Stage 3 and then damaged his own tyre later in the morning. The Fiesta driver fighting back to 9th by the end of the day. Meanwhile, was determined to make amends for a disappointing Zlin last year and had immediately thrown down the gauntlet to his young rivals. Clocking up 3 stage wins through the day, the 43-year-old was the man to beat at close of play.
Current Masters frontrunner Martin Velček was the first driver to fall foul of Ceredigion's blind crests and tricky jumps. Firing his Hyundai off into the roadside bushes and compromising many of the driver's times that would follow.
The talented 25-year-old hoping to bounce back after crashing out from a strong position in Wales last time out.
Andrea Mabellini came into Sunday with the aim of reeling in title rival Mico Marchek, while also keeping the hard-charging Roberto Dapra behind him, and he did it in style, overhauling his title rival on the penultimate stage to take a fine 2nd place. And that was John Armstrong. Still with an outside chance of the ERC title, it was the Irishman's first time leading an ERC event. One moment early on could have been much worse. But from then on, it was a masterclass on the narrow Welsh roads.
While Carl Peder Nordstrand had never even rallied on tarmac before his ERC junior debut in Czechia, and the Norwegian is clearly a natural, securing back-to-back runner-up finishes by winning the event's last 5 stages. The 18-year-old clearly one to watch in the future. Following that dramatic exit from Korhonen, everyone behind would gain a position, so Mico Marchek's 3rd place had become 2nd. With the pressure eased following Armstrong's penalty, it was a terrific result on home soil, and the championship lead came with it.
Miko Marczek's pace was evident throughout the morning, despite this heart-in-mouth moment. Winning stage 3 gave him more than 2 seconds advantage over the rest of the field, only for him to overshoot a junction in stage 4. He eventually finished the day in the final podium place and looks the nearest threat to the Italian domination.
4 well was 30-year-old Irishman John Armstrong, and the M Sport Run Fiesta driver has again proved his asphalt pedigree with an early run of 3 minutes 12.6 seconds that had provided a tough benchmark to beat. Out of action as the qualifying winner, the Skoda driver needed to take advantage of his cleaner road as the first man in. But with the pressure building, the pole overshot in stage 3 and his pace faded dramatically in the afternoon.